Are we on the cusp of a technological revolution that will change the way we interact with the world around us? Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talks Daily, where today we're diving into the future of mobile apps and the emerging world of augmented reality with our esteemed guest, Tristram Bates. He's going to be joining us today. He's the incoming head of mobile at NewDay, but he's also the organiser of the UK's biggest iOS meetup group. And he's going to be bringing a wealth of knowledge about the intersection of mobile technology and user experience. And with rumours swirling about Apple's imminent launch of Vision Pro headset, we're poised to discuss the social and engineering challenges that this new device might present. And will this herald a new era in mobile app development? How will AR headsets like Vision Pro reshape our interaction with technology? Well, these are just a few of the things that we're going to explore today. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to London here in the UK, where we're about to ponder the future of mobile apps in an increasingly augmented world. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hi, my name's Tris, short for Tristram. I'm a mobile engineering expert and head of mobile. I'm absolutely obsessed with technology and have been since a very young age. I've been working with mobile since the first iPhone. I was previously head of engineering at Makoto, but I recently joined NewDay with their brilliant team of engineers trying to disrupt the credit card fintech space. And outside of work, I help organise the UK's biggest iOS meetup called NS London. We tour biggest startups and big techs in London, kind of showcase knowledge and technology and ways to build apps and ways not to build apps, share the knowledge around. This week we had a meetup at the train line, which was a huge success, and we've got many more events planned for this year.
Wow, incredibly cool. Largest iOS meetup, you're tech mad. And as we record this podcast, a few days' time, Apple's Vision Pro's coming out. Are you going to be spending that huge amount of money to get one, or are you waiting on the sidelines? Does it excite you?
Waiting a bit on the sidelines. I've got some of my team going to try it out in Apple's secret labs in London. So we'll see what they think of it. I've been a very early adopter of previous Apple products. My only concern would be how long the support lasts for it once it's version 1.
Yeah, it's a fair comment. And I'm curious, looking into the future as momentum builds, how do you envision the integration of emerging technologies like Apple's Vision Pro headset in the current mobile app ecosystem? Are any challenges that you think developers might face in adapting to these new platforms?
Yeah, so Apple's strategy at the moment is they've got a system where automatically your existing iPhone and iPad apps will be available on this device. So the tricky part is elevating them more above this single kind of screen iPhone with a giant canvas to actually having the data all around you in your vision. And, dealing with the fact that it's a real device where you can see people coming into your world and how the UX user journeys work on that. So very interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, a question I've got to ask you, the breaking news just before we started recording this podcast was the Apple allowing other alternative app stores from March the 1st. Did you see that announcement? What did you immediately think?
Yeah, that was today, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's been brewing for a long time. The Epic versus Apple trials in America didn't win there, but in European Union, they normally get their way. They did with the iPhones getting USB-C ports. So it's interesting. There's similar models on Android where you can install from untrusted sources. So I kind of see this going the way, but the UK market reading the agreement isn't currently affected because they are state within the EU.
Yeah.
Don't Brexit for that. But yes, I can kind of see that being a model that gets rolled out in other places. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, interesting times. And if we keep looking forward, considering the shift from smartphones to maybe potentially more immersive devices like AR headset, there's already talk that in 5-10 years from that it could actually replace a handset. We're a long way off from that. But how do you see the user experience evolving, and what are the the key factors that, more specifically, app developers should be focused on, do you think?
Well, it's one of the first mainstream devices that's attached to your face. There brings a whole series of other dynamics. I'm thinking about everyone almost getting run over by a car as they cross the road in London while they're looking at their phone. But I think it's the natural evolution there. I think there is going to be some interesting journeys. Yeah, is it going to become more of an entertainment device or a productivity device or a mixture of both? I think only time's going to tell that. But I can see people getting lost in building Photoshop designs, Figma designs, with the wall around them covered in their designs and working through things. So it's a fresh start and something new, and I think either way out of it, there'll be some new breakthroughs.
And of course, with that high price point that we mentioned a moment ago, with the Vision Pro headset, any particular strategies that you think may be necessary to ensure widespread adoption and accessibility, especially in diverse market segments? Or is it because it's so early, it's less about mainstream adoption at this stage? What's your take on that?
So for the first production run, they produced 80,000 units, and they sold out straight away within hours of release. People are looking at March delivery dates in the US. I think Apple are really good at this, controlling the supply. I'm sure they'll be giving it to celebrities and other people to try and encourage it. But I don't think Apple envisage people spending £3,500 plus pounds. It will take on, but what it will do is it will set, this is the value bar of the item. So when it's suddenly £1,000 or £500, people will associate, well, it was this, what a bargain. So it's kind of anchoring the price to getting people to acclimatize to the high price. When the SKU comes in at a lower price, it seems, oh, well, that's a bargain, and that's an interesting sales strategy they've adopted.
And of course, we're a long way off from that Ready Player One kind of lifestyle. But what are your thoughts on maybe the social impacts of devices like AR headsets? Do you think they will possibly lead to further distraction from reality, or do they offer a new way to maybe enhance our day-to-day experiences? Which side of the fence do you find yourself here?
I've been looking back a bit, and I brought some props with me as well. I can show you in a bit. But
cool.
It's quite interesting to reflect on the past. I think if you'd have told people in the 80s and the 90s that people would be wearing DJ-style headphones on their heads on the trains, enormous cords coming out and all them being wireless and disconnecting from the world, you wouldn't have believed them, but that's now mainstream. So, and on plane flights, everyone's got the eye covers on. They've blocked out the outside world. So I think a device that breaks through both of those boundaries and allows people to disconnect in their commute and everything else, I think it could take off in that sense. Yeah. And also people already looking down at their phones anyway, so bring it back up would be better for their posture. Yeah.
100%. That's a great point about the headphones. I never thought of it that way, but you're bang on the money. You look around, everyone's listening to their music on a big pair of cans. And when we look at things like cross-platform development, how significant do you think that challenge of developing apps that seamlessly span across form factors and platforms, particularly with Apple's strategy of porting existing apps to Vision OS, where do you see this heading?
It's a great question. There have been lots of seeds planted over the years. So originally we had the same problem on iPhones and Android devices. How do you share AR content between the two platforms? So there've been, each platform had its own framework. So you had AR Core for Android and AR Kit for iOS. And then you've got companies like Unreal, etc., bringing in engines where they can run on both. So Unity allows you to port to both. So it makes sense that 3D entertainment content will exist on both. So I think that won't be the bigger problem, I think, for this. That's already kind of solved in the VR space. So that will kind of transition and trickle down to this device count.
And to shamelessly steal the Steve Jobs quote, where you can't join up the dots looking forward, you have to look back. I mean, looking back at the evolution from brick phones to smartphones and now to AR headsets, do you think there are any particular lessons we can learn about user adoption patterns and market shifts? Because we have kind of been here before, haven't we?
Yeah, no, we have. Yes, I did bring some props. So this is a 1991 Sega Game Gear.
Wow.
If you look, it's about the same size as my head. So takes 6 AA batteries and lasts about 2 hours. So not that dissimilar from a Vision Pro, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I got a thought with that. That reminded me of that. And then obviously in 2007, Apple brought out the iPhone, which was a big phone at the time. But now it's teeny. That was absolutely tiny compared to modern phones. And you see other manufacturers, Samsung bringing out the flip phone and stuff. So it is a bit of a case of these things go around in circles. Big, unpractically unwieldy devices down to smaller factors, and people get used to that. And I kind of see the end result being very like Star Trek, where you get the flip communicator. It's talking to some AI service somewhere, and it gives you the answer you need, and then you're more connected with the real world. So I think disconnected from the world and then back to the world is kind of the way I envisage seeing it happen.
Love that. And I've got to say, I mean, you're an iOS guy, largest iOS meetup. You got the Apple iPhone there. You also got a Samsung flip phone. What's that about? Is that
so my role at NewDay is, and in previous role as well, head of mobile. So I lead up a very large team of engineers disrupting Android and iOS spaces. So I'm also actively involved in Android meetups. But I try not to play favorites. I am a huge Apple fanboy, but it's nice to see what the competition has and see them driving each other, because originally it was the iPhone and some people left Apple and Android started, and the two have been fighting it ever since. And I think that competition is healthy.
I'm curious, when you have a little play with that, when it comes to flip phones, foldable phones, would you like Apple to create something like that? Do you see a use case for it, or are you happier with the current form factor?
I don't think it's very Apple, but what I really like about the flip phone and Apple Watches and smartwatches is they disconnect you from the device. So you get a little nudge on your wrist and you go, oh, I've got a message. But you can still be present in the conversation you're having with friends and family. And it's the same with a flip phone. I can glance at it, I can see a message, and I can glance back. You don't need to get my phone out, arch my back, and look at my phone, and I can just go, right, I need to still be present. So I think that for me is the biggest deal of that device. Plus as well, you're not holding a huge phone that someone's going to whip out your hand. It's this little phone that you can have Google Maps on.
Brilliant. And as someone that is a leader in mobile app development, what would you say are the key strategies for managing engineering teams effectively in an environment where technology and user expectations are constantly evolving? It's both exciting and daunting, I would imagine.
It's massively daunting, and if you, I think the key bit is to empower the engineers so they can make their own decisions. So having the right processes there, the right bandwidth, so they're not just full-on feature development. They can go out and try out new features and go to conferences, being part of the community. It's always great to look over the fence and see what everyone else is doing. So this week I got the meetup I was running at the train. I got my engineering team to come along, and we had other engineers from Revenue speaking about how they build their apps with their enormous teams of engineering. So we kind of look ahead and see, well, how does this scale to several hundred engineers or a team of, say, 30 mobile experts? How does that scale? So, and yeah, that's quite interesting, but definitely carving up some bandwidth. Hackathons are a great thing as well. We run those at NewDay to kind of try and give people time outside of their work life to focus on something new and exciting. And we're doing a lot of AI stuff in that space this year.
Well, if we go back, 14 months, I don't think anybody correctly predicted just how much Gen AI would dominate our lives and continues to do so. So predicting the future is incredibly hard. So I don't want to put too much pressure on you here, but where do you see the future of mobile applications heading in the next 5 years, especially considering the potential integration of maybe AR and VR technologies? And so many other things. We've got the app fatigue thrown in there, and also, where do you see it all heading?
It's a very good question. Get my crystal ball out. So, I think it's quite interesting. And I was thinking about this today. If you look at the past of search engines, back in the very early 90s, you had to know the actual specific addresses and usenet groups, etc., where the information was held. there wasn't really an internet. And then Google came along in the late 90s and revolutionized that by changing that. And I kind of see this as an evolution of that. This is not a Google page you see where you suddenly got millions of hits. You've got, this is the answer. Yeah. And that's the jump. So I kind of see, in terms of mobile, I see apps getting smarter. But what I don't think people should be doing is labeling it as AI. It should be just transparent to the user. You open an app and it tells you the information you need. It tells you the recommended promotions that you need, and they're spot on. They're not just, well, why would I be advertising this product if it's not for me and it's not related to my lifestyle? So, or why would I install, say, a house site or dating, and they're selecting hundreds of listings? It should be, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the evolution, and that's where I'm hoping things get to.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to think where we're heading. I mean, all the businesses that have spent a fortune on careful SEO to ensure that they finish on the front page of Google, a lot of that stuff could almost become invisible if we're just asking something for the answer and being given the answer rather than being taken away to a website. Do you think that could happen too?
Yeah, I definitely think that's, I mean, if you think about ChatGPT and GPT-4, etc., they're spot on with the answer, but the answer, what you're asking it normally isn't that simple. You know? So it's the computer code to this, it's how you build this. You write me a bedtime story for my child, it's complicated things, it's immediate. So I do see the end result being immediate answers. And if you look at Star Trek, you ask computer a question and it will give you the answer. Rarely wrong in that show, but when it was wrong, it was really wrong. So
yeah, a little bit like Hal in the 2001 movies. But so I'm not sure how much you'll be able to share with me, or if you're able to share anything, but is there anything you can share with me about what you're working on at the moment, or anything you're doing at NewDay, anything that excites you or makes you want to jump out of bed in the mornings? What are you working on at the moment?
So we're building sort of a platform for people to come and sign up and become one. So if you want your credit card run by a company, you can get it run by NewDay. It's got lots of exciting clients and work for that already. So we produce John Lewis's credit card, Argos's, and some other companies, and we're looking to scale that. And part of that is key part is mobile. Mobile's it's a bit of your app that lives in people's pockets on a device they use several hours a day. So it's hugely important. So yeah, I'm working with the team to disrupt that space. Fortunately, that's all I can say for now.
Well, you've left me with a teaser. Sounds like we'll have to get you on later in the year. Maybe talk about some of the stuff that you're doing with NewDay. But before I let you go, I'd love to have a bit of fun with you now. And I always ask my guests, I've got a Spotify playlist where guests can leave a song to it, a song that means something to them. It can be guilty pleasures or allowed as well, or a book that means something to you we can add to our Amazon playlist, Amazon wish list. But all I ask is, what would you like to leave everyone listening with and why?
So I'd like to leave everyone listening, I've also got a book as well, leave everyone listening to History Repeating, I believe, by the Propellerheads.
Oh, yeah. Is that Shirley Bassey singing that with them, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they play that at one of the Apple keynotes once upon a time, I think maybe for the iPod and stuff. But it's always a case, and that's why I play it to old devices. You need to look back to see where we're going in the future.
Absolutely. Love that. Great choice. Oh, I'm going to have that earworm in my head for the rest of the day now. It's quite a catchy number. And for anyone listening, maybe they want to join your iOS meetup in London. Maybe they want to find out more about your work with NewDay, connect with you, talk to your team. Where would you like to point everyone listening?
So LinkedIn's the best place. So search my name on LinkedIn. Follow me on there. I do regular posts. We're running many different events this year. So if you're an iOS developer and you're aspiring to get into kind of tech space, please feel free to join our group.
Well, there's so much I loved about talking with you today. And I think the big takeaway there is how we have actually been here before. If we look at our past devices and how they led to where we are now, from brick phones, MP3 players, smartphones, tablets, to AR headsets, it really is, excuse the pun, but to bring it back to this, but history repeating, it's exactly what it is. So I'll get that song added to our Spotify playlist, and whenever I hear it, I will think of this conversation now. But more than anything, just thank you for sharing your insights today.
Welcome. Thank you.
So a huge thank you to Tristram. And I think it's clear that the landscape of mobile technology is on the brink of another significant transformation, from the potential impact of Apple Vision Pro headset to the broader implications of things like AR and VR technologies. I think we're reminded that the future of tech is not just about the devices that we use, but how they integrate into and enhance our daily lives. And Tris's insights into the evolution of mobile apps and his vision for a world where technology augments our reality rather than distracts from it offers quite a thought-provoking perspective. But what do you think? What does the future hold for mobile apps, augmented reality, everything in between? How do you see these technologies shaping your experience in the coming years? As always, I invite you to join the conversation. Ask you to share your thoughts by emailing me directly, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. Together, let's keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Stay curious about the future of technology. And remember, history may well repeat itself, but the future is ours to run. See you all bright and early tomorrow.